All right. Hello. I'm once again doing some refactoring today. The shortcut to go between windows here. Not any of those. How many shortcuts could there be? There's 7152009. I need to learn this shortcut. So like next tab. Control M? No, that's not it. Is it buffer? Alt down arrow. Accessible buffer, go to next. That's not it. So is there no shortcut to go between tabs? Thought there was. Hey there, Nightshade dude. Yeah, I'm working on refactoring image viewer, and if I finish that, I'm going to move it to its own crate. Because I'm pretty much done with it. I just need to refactor the vertical ruler. I did the horizontal ruler yesterday. Okay, now I can't even click on that. Right away I got a dead zone. After not getting one for most of last stream, I go ahead and I get one right away in this stream. How funny. At some point I gotta like watch one of the VODs and see what exactly triggering that. If it is something I'm doing. So that wasted all my setup time before the stream. So I should just like start the stream with the oh. I just closed it. Should just start the stream with like nothing open and you know, why waste time before the stream setting this up when it's just gonna force me to do it? That's shift control. Shift control is that. Okay, I gotta try to remember that keystroke. Or at least it didn't have to build this time. Like when I build one, it needs to compile. So I bet after I build this, it's going to need to compile this, even though it only took 0.3 seconds. It'll probably take another 10 seconds. I thought that when it compiled two different things that you'd get two different target folders, but I guess I'm wrong. 79% usage on the virtual disk. 30 seconds to run that. How long is this going to take then? Resource temporarily available. Oh, because it's can't run the same thing for two different windows. I don't think I've ever accidentally tried to run the same program for two different shells. Just see that. All right. So yeah, horizontal ruler is all refactored, so it fits in like 300 lines and readable. Actually, vertical ruler is smaller. Actually, we're going to make this code size larger by giving more names to things. I suppose that does make sense. So I'm going to kind of cheat and just start out with exactly the same structure in vertical as I started with horizontal. And just rename it. Actually, if I rename it here, is that going to become a problem? Horizontal ruler? No, it didn't touch that file. That's good. Okay. So I think left becomes top. Pixel width becomes pixel height. Right becomes bottom. Y becomes X. Top ruler area becomes left ruler area. And let's tell it to sort fields alphabetically. Why did I do that? Smart about it, just rename it in one spot. Okay. Right. All right. What if I just kind of drop that in there, or is that doing too much? I think that might be doing too much. Wondering if like that will help, or if that's just going to make it hard to follow. That might work, right? This becomes draw. We shouldn't need, well, that's going to move in a minute. We don't need any of this stuff. I've already computed that. This is draw border path. Why did it move it out like that? It doesn't know. Well, because of all the errors, right? Yeah, probably because I didn't have self there. That's one big part of it. So, yeah. Do the same thing I did up there. Just call this, delete this one. Call this one interval bounds. For now, make it mutable, but we're going to take this whole thing and call it draw edges and determine interval bounds. That's this stuff. All the way up to here. Whoa. Okay, no, it's confused. I should probably fix the errors first. Like that one, right? Hold on. How do I select all? Select all. Shift Super L. Like that. Oh, it already was self, but I need self left and I need self in front. Yeah. We'll come back to horizontal ruler in a bit. The try does take a text right. Okay. Okay, here's where I need borrow self. Don't need any of these. Hold on. Just the first two. All right. This is borrow self, and I only need the I do need those other arguments, right? Okay. This one I can get rid of all but the last two. Right. A self. All right. Back up to the other errors. Oh, yeah. Uh, these selfs got in here by accident. So did these. All of these selfs don't belong. Fixed. What the heck is that? Non-printable character or something? Deleted whoever it was. That is correct. I think I accidentally deleted left ruler area. Probably because it was that, and then I must have just deleted it by accident. Sort. Thing is, it didn't sort these. I select these and sort. I can't sort them. That makes me sad. What if I do this trick? Copy and paste there. And then select all the colons. And select everything to the end of the line, dude. Comma. That worked. Alright, one error at the bottom. I think that just wants a reference, right? Okay, cool. Back to one error because it's back in here. This needs to say for a call ruler, new draw. We're already in image viewer, so these can all be abbreviated, right? Just by saying use those. Like that. Okay. Never read. It should have been. Oh, that's part of the refactoring, right? I don't need to recompute range. Or pixel height, or half. That's pixel height. Oh, right, because we're computing something we already have, so we don't need pixel height or half pixel height. And this is where I think useful to have the side by side. Oh, and I have mouse dead zone already. So it's like right, top left corner is right here ish, and it goes all the way. So it's there, it thinks that there's some kind of other window on top here. I'm wondering if it has to do with this pop-up. So like, if I make another pop-up window. Oh. I think I fooled the Windows system to think that is a pop-up window there when there isn't. Very irritating. When that happens, I gotta reboot. Are you rebooting virtual machine? Ah, it's doing. We're stuck in the blackness of space. Just turn it off. Spending. Zooming. Just restart. That didn't do anything. Shut down. Nope. What if I spend? Quit. Start again. Unsuspend. I don't know what it's doing. Stop. Stop. Stopping. Start it again. It's like I pulled the plug. Have you tried turning it off and on again? What do you use for VMs? I use Parallels, which you can't see because it's not showing the window right now. Parallels on a Mac Studio. I haven't had it crash that hard in a long time though. See, we're back up reasonably quickly, so I would like to understand why it crashes so hard sometimes though. Still analyzing? No, just a little bit. Tried VMware Fusion. I used that like a long time ago. And I don't know. I guess I could try it again, but back when I was using VMware Fusion, and then I tried Parallels, I had a much better experience with Parallels than I did with VMware Fusion. I think also it was cheaper. Parallels is cheaper. I could be wrong though. It's been a while. Should I give it another chance? I mean, when it works, it works for a while. The mouse dead zones and the weird crashing is sort of new. It's free now. Fusion is? Well, there we go. It used to be that the Windows VMware was free. Then for the Mac you had to buy Fusion. Now if it's free, maybe I should just give it another chance. Okay, here we go. This didn't change. It's just flipped. The X and Y are flipped. So inner areas on the right, left, ruler areas on the left. Okay. Yeah, so it's left UI goes here. So here would be top UI. That's what it is. That's why I wanted these to compare with. Right here it's bottom UI. So I'd just like to let you guys know that my cat is over behind the monitor snoring. Yep, she's helping out for sure. Okay, so this is what we would factor out then. Okay, I'm lost. Okay, found it again. So yes, let's draw. Okay. Oh, I clicked and I lost my selection. This much is draw edges and determine interval. Whoop. Why don't I just copy it from up here? Cool. Drawing major intervals. And we're going to change this the same way. Cat cam, camera is like in a different part of the room, so I can't really do that right now. Sorry. I can just hear her snoring. I'm like, okay. Cat, continue to snore. That's fine. Okay, this is extract into function. I bet it's those pop-up windows that I get like when I'm refactoring. Sometimes the Windows system like doesn't know that the window has already been dismissed. Yeah, cat using your snoring power to accelerate my coding ability. I'm all for that, you know? Okay, self was moved because probably this, yeah, exactly. That's what happens when you don't borrow self, it gets moved. All right, so there we go, draw's done. Need border path anymore. Okay, and then this is self.range. Actually, I don't think I need that at all. Yeah. Oh, I'm in the wrong function. I'm pretty sure I don't need that because I can just say self.that. But I'm in the wrong function. Let me try to find the correct one. All right. We don't need range. We still have range magnitude, and that's self.range. And we still have base interval. That doesn't change. And right, this is changed around because we're taking that into iter find trial major intervals. Oh, trial major interval. Same thing, but we're taking this and we're mapping it. And yes, I realize I'm typing when I don't really need to type. That's how it goes. So it's draw major intervals is what this gets refactored into. I just want to see it should be all of this. Well, hold on. Now she's really snoring. This just becomes that, right? Oh. Interval here. There, I got it. Some extra errors because that's itself there. Self up there. See, like when I dismiss that with escape, I think I'm running the risk of getting a mouse dead zone again. Oh, I just noticed something. We don't need to pass range as a parameter, do we? I don't need range there because I can just take self range. Go, and same thing here. Okay. Her snoring is just really funny right now. Okay, I kind of lost my place here. Just tell it to sort. I can't sort. Probably because I have errors. Oh, I think this is where I was, right? Try drawing minor intervals. No, I wasn't try drawing major intervals. In here. Yeah, that's right. I wanted to refactor this as trial major interval. Or draw major intervals. Right here. This much of it. Okay. This time I'm gonna do call hierarchy so I can find where I was the call side again. Okay, should I make it the same? I think I will. That. All right. Okay, yeah, I don't need to recompute first and last. I think. Oops, I have overwrite turned on. There we go. I think this just, yeah, this just gets replaced by this. Which was this. think I did that because it's used somewhere else. Top image, it's the same math except for it's top instead of left. Okay. And we renamed this pixel. And got rid of this because we realized we don't need last, I think. Because it's just going to use intervals. Okay, so this really is just the same exact thing. Only it's bottom image instead of right image. Okay, and then this is refactored out, right? Part. Why did it do that? That's F32. Oh, I see, because there was a dereference and it didn't know. Yeah, this is really confused. I think I almost unconfused it. Why did it put it way out here? Shouldn't that go in here? It's really confused. I think I no? What the heck? Syntax error, right curly. This file contains an unclosed delimiter. Okay, so probably where I'm calling this. Okay, it's really confused. I'm just gonna undo. Okay, I already had an unclosed delimiter somewhere here. Oh, that's why. That extra delimiter. Hey there, A squared. How are you doing? This is imported from rate interval. Right. So this is where it was confused. Like these all have self in front. We're just doing refactoring today. And I have it's split because I want to refactor the vertical ruler similar to how I refactored the horizontal ruler. So like this, for example, should be a function with the same name, but it's for the other type. And mark is position. That should look like that, only left becomes top, width becomes height, right becomes bottom. Looks good to me. Right. So this is all very similar. Line is drawn the same way. Then we're done with drawing major intervals. Okay, so let me now tell it to sort again. All right, we'll have some errors. Okay, it's in try drawing minor intervals. Right, so this refactor to trial minor interval needs to borrow self. We don't want a reference. We just want to have that, and then here the reference. Cool. All right. and then all the drawing code is factored out. I should fix the errors first, right? Actually, I don't think I need to fix the errors yet. Because this should just be straightforward, like this all goes into another method. Yeah. Okay then. Or one more sorting pass. Then we're going to here again. Right. So here I am reusing the function that we refactored a little bit ago. Okay, and then I don't need to recompute this stuff, and this is leveraging the intervals function again. Bottom instead of right. It's the same don't draw over the major tick check. And then I also refactored that out. Uh-oh. I'm missing can't click here now. Oh, dead zone. Ah, I'm missing oh, draw minor intervals is not closed properly anymore. It's the same problem again. Done that twice now. Okay, got another dead zone. I think it is those pop-ups. When I pop up something and then it vanishes too quick, the windowing system thinks that there's still a window on top there. If I like move that away, there is nothing underneath it, but it's convinced that there's a window there, right in here. It thinks that there's something there, and I can't click anywhere in here where the cursor changes. I can't click there. Very frustrating. Reloading doesn't fix it. Tried that before. Still the same dead zone in here. The only thing I know that works is, I think even if we move it to another desktop. Okay, actually the dead zone includes the button to move it to the other desktop. Ah! Yeah. Anyway, let me try to continue despite that. Because I think I'm almost done with this. I think I actually might be done, but I want to compare some of these other methods like draw if within bounds. Yeah, that's the same. Oh, this can be shortened. Just draw text within bounds. All right. Hit the galley, width and height instead of width. All that is similar. Okay. Yeah. We have a different instead of getting the galleys, instead of getting sample text, we just use the font's height. So I don't need a galley for that one. File's the same. Oh, this one. We have all these I can get rid of these now, right? Yeah, we got rid of them. I should just search for to do in this file. All done. Okay, good. So I could use this terminal anyway, right? Yeah, I just want to send it out of the virtual machine. Faster reboot with the keyboard anyway. That time it rebooted on its own just fine. So if I try VMware Fusion again, maybe I try a different Linux instead of Ubuntu. Because I tried Debian and I tried Ubuntu, and Ubuntu I liked better with parallels. But maybe I have a different experience with Fusion. Oh, I should have searched for allow. Just have the one then. Right. Still building the build artifacts. Build them. Use Nixos. I've never heard of that. What is this Nixos of which you speak? Nixos. Immutable design. Atomic update model. So I have to learn yet another package management system. Oh, really? It's that old? 2003? Uh-oh. What are they going to do when they run out of letters of the alphabet? You hate it and you love it? Huh. Okay. I don't know if I really care that much about Linux to learn yet another configuration system. It's interesting to at least know about it now. Now when someone mentions Nixos, I'll be like, I know what that is, sort of. Okay, let's move that over to so open a shell. CD to there, and then it was Shift Control H or T. There we go. See, I'm trying to remember the keyboard shortcuts for things. You can use Nix the manager without Nix, but can you do the opposite? Can you use Nixos, the operating system, and just use, I don't know. I know Red Hat and Debian at this point. Those are the two that, and oh, I screwed it up, didn't I? Look at that. We're drawing the tick marks to the right instead of the left, I guess. Well, I screwed it up. It's funny. So what's wrong is the line is wrong, and minor tick marks are wrong. We're using a one like maybe right instead of bottom or something. Oh, I got it to crash. I'm not surprised. Okay, so I don't think it's the border path, but I guess I should check. So left, so the ruler's left, so it's bottom left, and then goes to the right, and then it goes up, and then it goes left. That's correct. So, well, we know it's the minor intervals that are drawn in the wrong spot, so I should just look at that, right? It's this ruler line that's calculated wrong. Yeah, this should be right, not bottom. Probably what it was. Hey there, Stripe Monkey. How you doing? Bad part about Nix is that it eats your storage space. Okay, that's not good. Okay, I do see another bug. We're drawing an extra tick mark. In fact, we're drawing a lot of extra tick marks. Look at that. Just, oh, I see the problem. It's offset by quite a lot. And it just crashed. So, is that one of these other things here? Yep. This should be top, and this should be bottom. That when I copy paste code from horizontal to vertical, that's bound to happen, right? Doing pretty well, I'm glad. KD Plasma Wayland has been working well for you. Wayland is a replacement for X, right? That what made it interesting to me. It's a communication protocol, so it's basically a next generation X window system. Aim of replacing the X window system with a secure and simpler one. I kind of do want to try that out, especially since it's already 16 years old. Should be stable now, right? No more screen tearing. I haven't really seen screen tearing as a problem. Hey, but maybe it'll fix the problem I have with these stupid dead zones that show up in the editor, right? All right, I think it's fixed. There was one thing I also noticed at the end of last stream, and you can kind of see it. See, there's no marker for column 109. There's one for 108. Oh wait, that's not a fair comparison. I need to zoom in until they're on ones. That, see, 101, 102. So 107 actually doesn't have a tick mark. Even though 43 does have one, 107 does not. And the same thing vertically here. 70 and 71 have tick marks, but 72 does not. So it's like we're stopping one early in our interval. So now that I think I'm using the same function for drawing minor intervals. I'm using this intervals function, right? I think it's stopping too early. So I think it should be right image +1, or the intervals should like just stop and this should be a greater than or equal to. But I need to make sure that oh, okay. Right, yeah, that's good, I think. Yeah, I think that might just be it. So that's the cool thing about refactoring. They're all using the same function, and I only need to fix it in one spot. So, I don't know, is there a distro that's either like Red Hat or Ubuntu that has Wayland in it that I should try next? Cool, so now we have a tick mark there, and also the major mark. Yeah, it should, if the major mark lies on an edge, it should actually draw it. Oh, we have a problem. Oh, 30 should have a major tick and it doesn't. It's not drawing it. So where the major ticks start, I think we're backing off a little bit too much there. Yeah, see how the tick mark for 30, we're not drawing it. It's disappearing too quickly. To fix that. All right, so that's the major first interval. Okay, yeah, so that it's just this +1. I don't know why I had that in there. And probably the same. This one they're not shared, right? So yeah, it's gonna be 2 instances of it. Fedora probably. I think Fedora is one of the distros I never tried, along with the notorious Arch Linux. Actually, I tried Arch Linux for about 5 minutes, and then when I read what was involved, I ran away screaming from the room. Maybe not literally, but figuratively. Like, here, I'll show you what I did. I'm like, okay, let me learn about Arch Linux, right? And I think I gave it the benefit of the guide. I just went to their site. Simple, lightweight distribution. I'm like, okay, how do I install it, right? And I'm like, okay, installation guide. And then it talked about like, you have to like get the image, verify its signature with some weird command, and then you have to prepare a disk. And it's like, oh God. And then like, you have to set like, why all this? No graphical setup? What? Why do I have to mess with the clock? You know, partition disks, that's what we did in the 90s. Like, yeah, why are we still messing with this in 2025? Yeah, I'm like that's okay. I had enough of that with Slackware. Remember Slackware? That's one of the very first distributions I learned. I think it's still around, right? Yeah, but look at its website. It's like uh, you can tell it's from the 90s. Probably better would be the Wikipedia. Yeah, this was in 93. I think that's around when I actually used it. So that had a similar experience where you have to set up everything in text mode and you had to partition the disk yourself. And I'm like, I don't want. I'm getting too old for this sort of thing, as um, Han Solo would say, or was that Indiana Jones? Or no, that was Obi-Wan Kenobi. I'm getting too old for this sort of thing. You appreciate the install by hand? I did when I was in my 20s, but those days are long past me. I don't want to have to mess with partitioning disks anymore. The most that I'm willing to do is go into a disk manager and say, give me a new volume. Like, just give me a new volume, please. And you're like, I don't want to have to mess with sizes. I don't want to have to like resize an existing. No, just that's shouldn't have to do that now. Okay, I think we perfected the image viewer, at least as far as the rulers go. I could do a little bit more with the magnifier. Like I was saying a couple days ago, instead of hard coding it to print a web color like that, we could just make that a dependency that we inject into the image viewer, like a callback that you assemble a string that you want to see for a given position in the image, and it would just do it. The client would do it, but I can do that later. I haven't tested the corner cases in a while. That still works, and the edge cases. Whoops. What happens when you click outside your image? Corner cases work. Down here. Yep. Over here. All right. So it's all refactored, right? I can mark that off my list now. I can actually get one to-do item done. So I have these things to consider and test, but I'd really like to complete this one up here, move it to its own crate. I think that shouldn't be too hard. You installed Rocky Linux the same way Arch guides you through, or the same way Arch guides you, though. Fortunately, your day job is mostly being a sysadmin. I think that would make me more comfortable if I was doing that all day, but I don't do that all day. Arch install is fine. GNOME is set to get rid of X11 completely? Wow. Arch is not horrible anymore. There's a script built into the install meeting. Okay, so it's getting better. All right. We'll leave it when I see it. So to make it its own crate, there's a couple things I got to do, right? I have to make a new folder, top level called. Then in the top level workspace, I have to actually list it as a member. And then, yeah, Rust Analyzer is going to get super confused right now. That's fine. Now I'm going to move it out of the bridge. So image viewer needs to have a directory called src. And why don't I just take the cargo toml, copy it, and paste it in image viewer, and call it image viewer. And it is not a dylib. I do not depend on that. I don't depend on these either. I don't think I need futures. We'll see. I don't need Lexer Lua. We don't need. And I think it's only W in it, right? I mean, only eGUI that I depend on. I think that's the only dependency I have. So image viewer.rs, we're going to move it, literally dragging and dropping it into source. Oops, I hit cancel. Why did I do that? Try that again. Put it there. Didn't do what I asked it to do. Try that again. Third time's the charm. Drag and drop. Not doing it now. Okay. Need to go to the console then. Move image viewer to image viewer src lib.rs. Move. Well, it's flat at the top level of the crate. It's modules, right? So I should just go in here. Oh, I moved the wrong thing. So I moved its submodules. So really I just want to move all of those one directory out. And go up one, remove lib.rs. That makes me scared unless I ls it. Yep. Okay. Back up to the bridge source. Move to image viewer src.lib.rs. Okay. Now it should be what I want. Yes, so there's our lib.rs, there's our modules. We don't need widget, do we? I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to replace my custom widget trait with eGUI widget trait. So in there I had like this one. We're just going to import that from eGUI, and I think the only difference is it's called UI, not draw, right? And then we'll figure out what to do about that in a minute. Is it not? Oh, it uses self. Okay, then I'm going to do that. Oh, what's the deal with that? Okay, eGUI response it is. Is that because that returns a response? Okay, so if I make it a widget, it can't have its own response type. I mean, that's okay, I guess. For now. What response do I return? I think I am just returning the inner, which is correct, right? It's just that this thing, it won't be none anymore. I guess I'll just return inner area response. I actually don't know what to return here. I don't know enough about how widgets make responses. Like, can I just make a new one? Like, how do I make a new response? Or do I just do it myself? Okay, for now I'm just going to just turn the inner area response because I don't know what else to do. And that's what we'll do for now. You just moved the folder and name it? Yes, I did. Yeah, rm-r, it does make me scared. That's why I did rm-dir instead. You could probably have dependencies in the main cargo tunnel and then grab them from the workspace. I didn't know I could do that. So I've been keeping, I think it's because way back when, in the depths of time, I was working on a mixed workspace that had different target architectures. Remember the keyboard project? So that had like one project was built for the chip inside the keyboard. Another one was built for the host OS, and yet another one was like in a weird hybrid. And so they're like, because it was so complicated, I tried to simplify the workspace cargo toml, and that's sort of the I've been keeping to that as a habit, and like having each individual member of the workspace declare their own dependencies. So this just does that. I'll have to figure that out in a moment. Okay, so this is not a module anymore. Instead, we have to actually create a dependency from the bridge cargo toml. So that's going to depend on image viewer. Why am I doing that when I can just copy? Okay. This should just be, oh, I didn't move intervals, that's why. Intervals is in bridge, right? I just drag this now. Posed. That actually worked. Move. Have a mod intervals. And this does not have mod intervals anymore. Okay, so the only error left is that it doesn't know, okay, well that, I can just delete that and then re-import it. Okay, and then this into doesn't work because widget host works with widget we're going to deprecate. So I'm going to deprecate it just by deleting this. Delete. Move to trash. Now it's going to get really confused because like I don't know what a, where's my widget module, right? Where'd my widget module go? So widget host needs to not import our original widget, but instead import eGUI widget. Now it's happy again. Only window probably doesn't know how to do preferred size. No, it doesn't know what a widget is, so we got to teach it what a widget is. Or eGUI widget, right? So instead of draw, it's UI. So that'll probably be another error we have, right? Here it is. And then can't be statically determined. Oh, right. I need to is that how you do it? Or I guess I can do widget UI, and then that's widget. Wait, mutable? What's the problem here? Is it because it's dying? Do I need to like reborrow? I think it might be because of where I where was it that I did the impl? Was it in that was an image viewer though, right? Yeah, if I make that dying, it doesn't actually, that's not even right. I guess that is the problem, that the trait, so a A dyn widget does not implement widget. That's the problem, right? Okay, let me pause on that one. Right, we're gonna put it into an RC new. Why does this not work now? I thought that that would just work, but maybe not. Consider borrowing here. Like that? Not gonna work. So we're removing the borrow. Yeah, we can't do that. I think you can't do that, right? Can I do RC that? You can't do that. That's a bummer. Can I do that for a box? Well, so you can do it with a box, but you can't do it with an RC? I'm considering having two traits, one behind, one that's to type erase it, but it still holds on to the original widget. But can't widget host do that? So I need an RC, but I'm confused. I'm really confused. Anyway, yeah, we can't do this bird size anymore, right? Yo, Tensei Rhythm, how are you doing? I'm a little stuck on refactoring this. Let me show you guys what I was go back up what I'm working on here. So target release GUI. Working on a programmable parser. So right now I have it loading up format description for GIF and giving it a POG slide GIF, so it can parse out all of the individual frames. And I'm trying to make a little widget to add to the GUI that can, instead of showing me the raw pixel values, that it actually plots it on the screen. So that's what this other guy is supposed to do. That I can't compile it, but I can show you the last compile. So it looks something like this, and maybe be integrated into the UI around here somewhere, as long as my face isn't blocking this. You click on the image and it would pop up an image viewer, or maybe you click on a different frame from the animation and pop it up here. But the idea is like, it's just a little widget. You can zoom in, you can pick out individual color values, and this widget I might reuse in other apps in the future that have like where you're either just looking at or viewing the details of an image. So yeah, that's basically it. GIF or GIF, however you want to pronounce it. Shared ownership. This is Squiggle 224 because this has to go into Lua, so it has to be shared. So that's primarily why I have an RC, is to share it. So the problem is that I was using my own trait. Now I'm trying to use the trait from eGUI, and maybe just this, because of how this is declared. I think it's because of that that it consumes self. And they say, well, you can implement widget for mutable reference to your thing, but like, I don't know how to do that with RC, So this might be a problem. I might not be able to use eGUI's widget trait. I might have to go back to using my own. You haven't messed with Lua in a long time, although that was, wow, add-on related. Well, I'm kind of doing the same thing. So I'm using Lua both to automate my Rust program, and I'm also planning to put Lua into my Rust program so that you can sorry, the other way around. I'm making my parser a plugin to that you can plug into anything that has a Lua interpreter in it, and also I'm planning to put Lua into my own GUI that hosts the parser as well, so I can go both directions. Whew. Yes, so my problem right here is I need to tunnel into Lua, and you do it by implementing user data. That's all you really need to do. So as long as you have a concrete type, you can tunnel it in as a user data as long as it is clonable. And I don't want to actually make a copy of my widget when it clones it. I want to just copy a reference. So I made it be a new type around a reference, but I wanted to erase the type because I wanted to reuse this with other widget classes. And that's the problem. I think this dyn is getting in the way, because when it comes to actually implementing the that trait, like we can't just say that, because this is going to consume self, right? Including its inner, so it's going to destroy the widget whenever we draw it, which is not what we want. You can't directly, well, I'd be okay with that, but the problem is still way over here on the host. Oh, in the window. Yeah, this is where I first saw the problem, right? It said the trait bound is not satisfied because a type erased widget doesn't implement the trait. Like, okay, because it comes in as a type erased reference to a widget. So how do I call UI on that? If UI needs a self, like, oh, maybe it's just the way I'm writing this. What if I just go back to UI? Maybe that was the problem all along. No, see, it still has a problem because it's not sized, right? Can't move it up because it's behind a shared reference. Doesn't implement the copy trait. Right, so like, don't know how to do this. Yeah, RC is for immutable sharing. So I already have, it's already interior mutable type. It has an inner with the ref cell in it. So I'm already doing that. So I'm okay sharing an immutable reference. It's just that the trait wants it takes self, not a reference to self. So I had to do this weird thing where I'm implementing it on a shared reference, but how do I get that shared reference back from if it's type erased? That's my problem. Yeah. because I want this window. This is like I want to be able to host any kind of widget, but I don't think I can. I don't know how to do this. So I could right now I could just punt and bind it with host image viewer. So this one just knows the type. It is here. And I can just put Lua result RC image viewer here. Because that's copyable. Right? So then I just don't use widget host. Window needs to now cover that RC. Yeah, this is non-optimal. Wait, it doesn't like it? Oh, I have to put it into the new. Yeah, I have to make that my host widget host has to not type erase it anymore. It has to actually have. Well, okay. What if I reintroduce a widget trait that holds on to a boxed type erased widget? Sort of lame, but it would work, wouldn't it? All right. I erased it. Can I get it back? To get it back by copying it from outside the virtual machine. That's what I can do. Is I copy and I do widget rs paste. Got it back. Okay. It's gonna get confusing though. Widget host. So it's not using eGUI widget. It's going back to using widget. Great. Widget. Okay. That one's happy. Now in window host. Problem with this one? Did I change? Well, that was always like that. Okay, so that's something else. So no eGUI widget. Called draw. All right. Okay, so image viewer goes back to implementing widget trait. I think that means I need to have a third crate that these two depend on called widget. Oh, keep it simple. No dependencies. Do file call lib.rs. Widget. Okay. Oh, I guess it does depend on GUI, so it does have a dependency. It's gonna have the same dependency this one does. Okay, and I need to add that to the top level. Okay, and then back, the image viewer also depends on. Why type something when you can copy paste, right? So one of these local references. So rid of that. This is import widget from widget. No more reference. Now we can implement that like I wanted, and this is called draw. And this goes back to not having response yet. And I think I just did a let that equal that, and then this is reference, right? Cool. So this goes back to being buildable. Widget imports. Oh, bridge needs that same import. I am making my own widget. Widget from widget from widget. Yeah. So I'm probably going to regret having the name collide. Import from widget widget. Widget widget from widget. Same thing here. Goes back to working, and actually everything works right now except for actually this does meet everything I need. So we're not using eGUI's widget trait at all. Eventually I think I do want to plug into that, but we don't need it right now, right? Let's just see if this works. So back to here, and I just build it and run it. So now widget is its own crate, image viewer is its own crate, separate from bridge. So it's separated. So the widget host and window host, they should be able to work with anything that implements my widget trait. It's just that I can't use eGUI's widget trait directly yet. Which makes me think I should call it something else, like a synonym for widget, like maybe control or whatever. What do we used to call it? Like view or something like that. You don't trust it, everything is happy, highly suspicious. I just got rid of eGUI widget trait. I'm not using it right now. We're kind of going around it. So when the host is told to dereference, it dereferences as through my trait here, and my trait has its own function that looks like eGUI's, so that inside of the implementation, we're just going around. We're not using eGUI's widget trait. We just look like the trait is very similar. So I think the consequence is I can't do like UI.add with I don't know why it says bool there, but like it can't add itself because it's gonna say that doesn't implement the eGUI widget, right? So I can't add image viewer to UI directly. it has to just have its own way of doing drawing layout, which is kind of I also made this change, right? It got rid of its own response type. I think I don't I want to back that change out, I think. I forgot how I did this. I'm just gonna look off stream to what I had from yesterday. Make sure it looks the same. It did. I deleted it. I'll bring it back. So here I'm bringing it back through the power of the clipboard. And then that I'm going to bring back also from the dead. Because I wanted to reserve the right to... See, this is probably not correct. Like, it shouldn't make its own response type, mirroring what eGUI has. I'm probably twisting the whole design of eGUI when I do this way. So I'll probably want to change these names. Response and widget to something else. Hey there, Tower Strike. I am a necromancer, yes. That's another power of having this virtual machine and using the host to do version control, is that like no matter what I screw up inside the VM here, I can restore it from outside. But that response thing does remind me of that I'm not completely done with the image here. Eventually, like if I want to connect it back into this, and if the main app needs to be able to respond to me interacting with this, that's what this is supposed to do. Is like if I click on a pixel, I want to like return something different, so that it makes its way back out to whoever's calling it. So that was the whole hint. And right now it doesn't return it. This draw, if I go up to it, is called by layout and draw, and oh, this is changed too, right? Store that. Oh no, that's correct. That's called by draw, right? So right now it's just eating that because we don't have any response back out. So that's a to do, I guess. Need a way to relay user feedback to the hosting app. So that goes along with the return value of draw here. Backups are _1 and 2, yeah. I'll just leave that to do. I need to think more about that, and maybe look and see what other eGUI widgets, how they're designed. Right now, that's done. I sort of started doing that, didn't I? I moved widget out. I just didn't move window out. That was this guy. Oh, this was this implementation is very back-end specific. That's why we're depending on WGPU, WInit, and the integration layers. So that was supposed to move out to another crate too, along with the host. This is specific to the Lua, so this stays in the bridge, I think. Part of this stays. Yeah, this is a mix because it implements a couple different traits. It implements Lua's user data and it implements W in its application handler. I should probably like sever those two somehow. There's a two. It's this type has two concerns, which is one too many. All right, that's for another day. So that's sort of still represented by this to-do item here. Okay, might be fun to try to do this in Lua. The idea here, I should back this up before I do anything more. Send. All right, what did it end up doing? We're deleting the old version of Image Viewer and it's adding it there. Right, okay. Good. So, close everything. Now we're going into Image Viewer, Source. I think it's in Selection. I remember right, it's like Draw. Zoomed area, Cursor and Color Label, there it is. So right here it's hard-coded. Here it's hard-coded, and my idea was to have this turn into a dependency that we inject. I hate libraries because they're asserting truth. Truth is asserted, and libraries truth asserts. I don't know what that means. Don't know what you're talking about, Blizzik. So if I were to turn this into a dependency that we inject, it would be probably moved into this type. This is called by the draw here. It's called by draw selection. So I suppose, and what's that called by draw? The outermost draw? Layout and draw. I'm thinking it's like when we make a new one that we have a callback here. So let's define that somewhere. Where to define it? I'm going to resist the urge to add a new type in the same folder. So I'll add a new module called what's the trait going to be called, or the type going to be called, like label callback, cursor label callback. Well, it's reusable. It would be like specifically it's for a certain pixel in the image that you gave it. Label for pixel. And to make an attempt to make better names to begin with. So type, hub type, label for pixel is a function that can take mutable state and then how do syntax again? Boxed like I do this in the parser. I box dyn fn mute. I think it's got to be similar to this, only I think it's got to be behind a reference cut because we're going to share it through. Oh wait, I should just look and see how functions are passed around in Lua. like really a Lua function I'm going to call, right? So isn't it? It's not fn mute. It's really just Lua function, right? Wait. This is from the image viewer's point of view. So the problem how to connect it to Lua is the job of the bridge. So I don't really need to worry about that here. And it's really not going to be a concrete type unless I'm calling it a box. Am I? I think I am because I want to. The whole point was to store it back in. Well, to pass it here and store it inside here. So it can't. I think I need to box it or reference count it, right? Because it's going to be inside a ref. Well, if it's inside a ref cell, it can stay mutable. Doesn't need to be shared. Yeah. I think I want to box it to type erase it though. But if that's the context, then this would be like it's just two U sizes, right? And it has to return a string. And I should just pass it the U30, the original color value too. Be the color value, the column, and the row. And I suppose static. I'm not sure if I need to say that, but okay. Never used. Well, we're going to use it now. So, label for pixel. Oh, got a mouse dead zone again, or not? It went away. No, it's right up here. There's a small dead zone right. Actually, it's not small at all. Not even rectangular shapes. So that area of the window I can't click on. Okay. I'm gonna store it here, right? All right, and now we have to actually provide something here. So here's the trick. How do I get a Lua function and wrap it as a boxed line? Don't I just like make a REST closure that calls a Lua function? I just need to remember how to do that. So like, we can just I can just code it here without going back to Lua to start with. Label for pixel. So it's like color XY. And then in selection where we're doing that right now, right? In right here. So that goes here. And that's not exactly right because I need to do like that boxed or something like that, or box new around that, right? What's the type back there then? If it's not compiling, color. Let's see, 32. How come it didn't like that? Oh, because it's what? Why didn't it like? Is it not like that? Shouldn't it just know that that's a U32? Yeah, it's weird. Okay, so yeah, we're not using X and Y right now, but the plan was to eventually use that, and then we'd also have like a reference to the original pixels by index and color table, and that we could like in lieu of that we could call back and like put in the table index, because the whole point of doing all this was consider showing the table index along with the color, and the Lua will have that. Just need to make its way there. Okay, so if we injected it like that, then I should be able to like use that all the way down here. So this in selection. If it's borrowing that, I should can I get a mutable borrow of the callback? Like this? Well, if it's inside the crate, or inside the box, then I kind of want this type. I already said it was static, so I guess I don't really need a lifetime on it. Hold on. Go back. Comment this out for a sec. Okay. For that. I guess if I just get a mutable reference to the box, that's good enough, right? Yeah, okay. Let's try that. So leave that the way it is. There, and can't click it. Dead zone. Actually, do I even need to be explicit? Not for draw, but the new does it. The new needs it. That's the only thing that needs it. So I could separate that out. I'll do that in a sec. New needs it. I guess this is fine. Okay, the whole point of this was right here, right? After the image, put mute cell. I'm not sure if I can do this, but I think I can. So I'm gonna try. Doesn't like that. Can't borrow it as mutable as behind the at reference. Yeah, but we do want to allow it to be mutated, so I think this becomes a mute. Then we can do that. It's just that this has a ripple effect. No, we already have that. I'm worried that it might be a that's what I was worried about. Can't borrow it because it's already borrowed. Mutable borrow on line 87. Aha, that's the problem. The type of that texture handle, can I just clone that? I can clone that, right? Can be cloned cheaply. That's what I'm going to do. Do I do it after the expect clone? Yes. And then borrow. Borrow. Okay, cool. That's working so far. So it doesn't like how many arguments I gave it. That's a problem for another day. I'd do a proper builder pattern, I think, or something, right? All right. Yeah, we're not using it, but that's the whole point, so I could use it in raw cursor label. Was right here. Self dot label for pixel, and I have to pass it color, cursor column, cursor row. That was it, right? Ah, callback. And it needs to be mutable. So we're just asking for mutable access to all the things. Why can't I mutate selection? I can, and I will. All right, so now that should work. I can't click up here for some reason. Now I can. So then the real trick would be to get it all the way out to the Lua script. So the idea would be that it comes, when the function call is made, it actually calls back into Lua to get the string. All right, so we're still printing that, right? Yeah. So I got it out this far. So I think, can we just do fn? It doesn't need to be mutable. I just do Lua function here. I don't think that the Lua is or into Lua is implemented for a function, a generic function. I could have used arc clone. rather than cloning the texture, you mean? Congrats, Tower Strike, but why are you bringing it up here? Let's see. Is it just function? Yeah, mlua function. So, yeah, don't I just call it here? Call. Args. It can be any args. It's just giving me an example args, right? The Tower Strike, that's something probably that's better brought up in Discord. Textures should be immutable. Why are they arc? It's interiorly mutable. Or sorry, it's reference counted. To make it cheap to clone. A lot of things in crates like in eGUI and in mlua and other places use reference counting to make cloning cheap. Yeah, I have a Discord. Yeah. I think I even have a link here. Yep. Mostly because, like, I'm trying to minimize the distraction. uh, go back to where I was doing that. This texture handle, it says the texture handle can be cloned cheaply, and the reason it can be cloned cheaply is the expensive thing is behind an arc. And I think texture ID is the same thing, although I can't click on it to show you. So it's kind of like it a handle. It's like well, that's why the handle is in the name. And really, I should be using that word everywhere where I do the same thing, where I have an interior reference counted in inner. Is I should be using the word handle, because that's sort of like a naming pattern that helps people remember. If you have something handle, it's probably cheap to clone because it's not directly the thing. It's holding onto a reference to the actual things. I think I'm pretty sure texture ID is. Can I do it this way? No, I can't click on that, so I can't show you that. Actually, what if I do that? Oh, if I scroll down to here, maybe I can do it. Oh, it's out. It's outside my reach. I can't show you. Sorry. Urgh. Oh yeah. So I'm wondering if I could just put a tuple here with all the things in it. And that'll just work. And then that's what we want to move into Lua. Okay. Do that. Then it'll okay, we have to convert it to an error, so it'd be okay. No. It might be an error, and an error is not convertible to string, so I have to do what? I have to do expect. Yeah, what do? I guess I would do an unwrap or else. And then we just have to like say something like callback, like, or just we can just do question mark, question mark, question mark, or something like that. Okay. It needs an error. Well, we don't care. Doesn't live long enough. I need to move it in. There we go. Now it's going to expect to call Lua, and since we don't provide it a function, the call is going to crash. So we should see question mark, question mark, question mark until I put it into Lua. This actually might work. Bad argument 5. I didn't expect a crash. Oh, it's a crash in the Lua script. So Lua is telling me that I need to give it a function. That's easy enough. So we can so if I can just test providing it. Is it strongly typed? It's trying to coerce it to a function, so I have to give it a function then. And that was here, right? Label for pixel. So label for pixel equals function. I forget the syntax in Lua. Is it like, is there parentheses? I'm gonna have to look it up. It's coercing Lua types, right? A Lua nil into a function. So it doesn't want me to pass just anything. It has to be a function. But I guess I can just do function end. That's the minimal, right? So now it should run. It'll give me, oh, it needs a parentheses. So I do put the arguments there. So now when I mouse over it, did it crash? Yeah, see, question mark, right? Because we're not actually returning the right thing. But if I did a return hello, that would actually work, right? Now it's going to show hello when I mouse over it. Oh, I put it in the wrong spot. Put it there. Won't let. How come it won't let me? Not putting the cursor in there. There it goes. Oh, that's that mouse dead zone. It thinks something else is right there. And that says hello. Okay, very close now. So it's color X and Y, right? And then like that, right? So then I just need to translate this Rust code back into the equivalent Lua. Figure out how to do this. Add cursor to below. Shift Alt down arrow. Shift Alt down. There we go. Okay. So it's like string dot format, right? And it's like percent 0 to X, I think. And then I think I can copy most of this as is. It's the same in Lua as it is in Rust, except for it's not so strict on the type, right? And I'm not getting any formatting for free, so I have to do my own formatting here. I don't have a Lua formatter. I think that's how it's done, right? Let's see. Missed the last 20 minutes because you had to clean up a dry mess. House sitting. The cat jumped blindly onto the desk and made you spill an entire cup of flavored water. Well, the cat, mission accomplished, cat. Cats live for making causing humans to make huge messes. Or well, that's bonus points for a cat. If cat can make the human cause the mess, that's bonus points. But normally, if they're willing to do it without bonus points, they cause the mess directly. Cat's doing cat things. That's right. It still says question mark, question mark, question mark. So why would that be? We're not returning a string? Oh, I'm not returning the string. It's not like in Rust where you can just create a value. You actually have to tell Lua to return it. Oh, look, it's working. So now the Lua is generating that hex code. So now if I wanted to, because Lua has the original image, I can just say in parentheses %d, right? Then I can add pixels. Y plus y minus 1. Oh, actually, it's going to be 0 based because I forgot. It's just going to be y times image. Didn't I do this math somewhere else? I think I did a long time ago, but I don't have it around. It's width, right? Plus x, and then because Lua is 1 based, I have to add 1 right now. So I think that does it. Let's see. Benefits of it being in Lua is it doesn't need to be recompiled. Oh, there we go. So now I have the actual, so that number 255 is what indexed into the color table it was. So the original pixel value. So that should like match like exactly. Okay, we do have an overdraw problem, but maybe I just need to use a smaller font. So it should match what's in the original parsed data. So that right there. So the first row being all 255s, and then there's some 67s in the middle. That should be like on this top row. Yeah, there's the 67s. So that's cool. Right, mission accomplished. So I don't need this anymore. And we can mark this as done. Woohoo! Did it. Are you Rust founder? No, I don't write Rust. I wrote the language for my parser though. So working on a programmable parser, you can program this to understand any file format. So right now I've taught it how to parse an animated GIF into different images. So there's one image, for example. And in the other window here, I was showing like through the use of a Lua script, I had it extract the image along with the global color table that's in here, and plot it on the screen as an image. And I plan to integrate this back into the main UI, but the way it gets the image and the way it parses, it's all programmable because it has its own language. So this is an example of that. This is the same format we're looking at, GIF. So you can see like header logical screen data are up here. And because data is in a loop, we get data as an array on the output. So there's like, it looped 21 times. And it's a mix of parsing instructions and flow control. So loop, break is flow control, if is a evaluation of something at runtime, and then flow either in or around it. And then things like header, logical screen, signature, those are parsing instructions. So like if it's just a name, it'll look for that name as a block somewhere else. But if it sees like a built-in type, like S for string, UI for unsigned integer, then it's like an intrinsic. It'll say, okay, I'm going to parse the next 24 bits as a string, or I'm going to parse the next 8 bits as an unsigned integer. And then what it parses out for that, it assigns in the output data stream as whatever you say. Pluses are look-aheads, and those generally are not stored in the output tree, but everything else is, unless you did an ignore, which I do occasionally have an ignore. Like reserve bits are ignored, so like you don't even have to, you don't give it a name at all even. But all these other names are going to show up in the output data tree here. What does understand mean? I don't know what that refers to. Hey there, TS Just. How are you doing? To occupy space at a lower level. Is it deep? I think I missed part of the conversation, Blizzik. Anyway, I got to reboot because I have another mouse dead zone. I can't click up here. I have to like click outside and then I can drag into it, but I can't click. What are we on now? Like third or fourth time I've had to do this? Password is Rimo. Don't tell anybody. Hush. Password. Yeah, it's a virtual machine that we're running on. So no worries if to overcome the little glitches that I have with it that I have to reboot occasionally. Not that big a deal. Back up and running pretty quick. Cool. All right. Like I got some stuff to update. Wait, Lua has a new version? 5.4? That later. So don't think I'm gonna do those now. All of these are hard to do items. I don't want to do them right. I don't want to start them right now this late in the evening. They're all hard. Getting everything running in the browser? My goodness. Did have some JSON parser loose end. Oh, we did that. Done. That was the image viewer. What we just did for the last 3 weeks. A lot of this stuff has to do with making everything sendable so that I can do all the parsing in a separate thread and not stall the UI. I do need to do that. But it's going to make the interface a lot more complicated because you can't just make it a synchronous call. You have to use a future or have it be an object that you can pull. No way your password's 5 characters? Yeah, it's Raimu. Update equals death? Maybe. That's why I don't want to do it midstream. Yeah, I'm okay giving up the password to the virtual machine because it's virtual. Nothing super secret on it. That's the whole point of having it. I think I'm kind of tired working directly with the image viewer right now, so maybe it's time to try to integrate the image viewer into the main GUI. I also wanted to make some updates to the GIF format. We'll go over what I kind of want to do there. You're gaming? All right, have fun gaming. If that's what you meant by that, that you're going to go off and game, that's cool. Otherwise, I don't know what you mean. All right, so what I'm thinking about doing here, hide that, or well, I need to reread the GIF format because if I think I misunderstood the structure here. It's like if it's flat data blocks, really there's an outer structure here where these three go with the first image, right? There's an app extension, control extension, and then there's the actual block that has the image data in it, right? And then the next extension goes with the next block. And that, so I really kind of do want to group these together. That's one thing I want to do. And another thing I want to do is inside of image data, it's only showing the input for the LZW compression. It's not showing the output. And I'd kind of like it to show in this 5994 what input corresponded to what output pixels. So I'd kind of like to do some work on that. I can just do that right now. It would be all inside of here, and it has to do with this LZW stream. So it's this loop. The fact that we parse an input there is why LZW stream only has a huge input array. But if I structure this slightly differently, it could be like input with outputs. What if I do that, right? So I'm reassembling the output pieces here. But like, what if I do something like this? So I say LZ IO. Code size, because I need to pass in that variable. Does it need anything else? It also needs a table. It also needs to know the minimum code size. It also needs to know the last and the next. And the clear code. It needs to have a lot of variables. So, just bite the bullet, put them all in here. Or I could just do a look ahead. Maybe that's what I should do. I do the look ahead and then handle this part, and only if we get into here, then I only need next, last, code size, maximum code size, output. Okay, so then it would be like here. Need the table, need the code size. I don't think I need the minimum. I need the maximum. Don't need the clear code anymore. I need next and last. And then after that, I would update next and last, right? And tables by reference. Actually, all of these are by reference, right? We'll see if this breaks it. Let's see if I don't do that, I just update them in place, will it work? Yeah, and then I wanted that to have the output, and then I wanted this part to go with that. Yes. Oh, next doesn't, not an input. There's just last. So this would be io.next. io.next. The cat's bugging me. She just wants attention. Wait, I wanted that to go into output, right? Yeah, and so this would be our output is concatenating the output inside this one IO chunk. Okay, so yeah, the idea there last has to be io.output. This is the contents of, this is most of the contents of IO. Actually, I kind of want to call it LZW IO. So that would go there. Then I would name this LZW IO. And then this is a look ahead here, but we redo it here. That is copied to there. My cat hasn't made me spill anything in a while, but she's just biding her time. Did you spill it on your keyboard? No! No! I think I broke it. I broke it. It is looping forever or something. Yep, it's broken. So that didn't work out so well. I have to kill it now. Yeah, I broke it. Must be in an infinite loop. Oh, yeah. We incremented one out here, but it doesn't get incremented, right? That code size. Okay, I guess that tells me it really is copying those by value. That's a bummer. Oh wait, these are wrong, right? Output equals. No, it's the other way around. What's the best piece of program advice you give to the next generation? Isn't the next generation going to be just vibe coding? And I need to do keep output. That's how it gets accessible from out here, if I did this right. This is output. Last, I think this will work. Hoping it'll work. Nope, it's broken. Oh, I broke it. I thought that if whatever I passed here is passed by reference, but I guess I'm wrong. It should be passed by reference though. Or now if I misspell that, I just get a parser error when I run this, right? No, it's completely hosed. So how is that happening? That should have given me an error. Oh, it's constantly erroring. If I like do that though, it'll break. Yep. Like, I don't know what a UIZ is. Can't parse that. Okay, so vibe coding, yeah. There are some streamers out here on Twitch that vibe code now. My experience is that AI gets things 80% correct, and then you try to tell it to correct the 20% it got wrong, and it gets 80% of that corrected, and so you never really reach 100%, but you get kind of close, and you kind of fill in the rest manually. So what I kind of want to do with this is, instead of using my main GUI to do this, because it's going to get hosed, is use the ingest. Yeah, like this. And see what happens to it. Right. And then I save this, and try again, and what does it do? Wait. Is it literally just, it got all the way out? Oh, it's going in and it's getting stuck and never generating anything. Okay, well, let me change this a little bit, at least, to not forward look. And this has to pass it in now. And then comment that out. Put it here. I'm just basically running the command line version of my parser. Cannot index IO 10, 276. What? Why does it say line 276, column 13, oh, to 278.14? So from there to 278.14. So it doesn't like that block. It got the symbol 256 and then the 255. And then not index that. I comment that out. Really? So it's not that commented out one, it's having trouble indexing it somewhere else. IO1. This? No. In fact, there it got all the way down to the end of the file. Okay, so the fact that it parsed all the way to the end of the file and found the trailer, yeah, it tells me that it's actually parsing correctly and updating the table and all that. It's just, it had trouble with this part. And it's this that I think it's having a trouble with. Index IO 10. Why is it trying to index it twice? 1 and then 0? Can I do like a warning? I think it's plus, and that should coerce it to a string. Yeah, Okay, so I can see the pixels there. See, it's getting out. It's just that we can't like reference it from the condition of a loop. What if I try to index it? Yeah, no problem there. So we can pull out the first one always. Okay. So then I think it's a bug in my parser. It's doing this index 0. Really, length should be taking. It's complicated because IO is parsed here in a vector context, in a loop, in the context of a loop. So when it's actually going to be constructing IO1, right? So whenever there's an IO, that's actually IO1 because we're in the second iteration of the loop. But where did it get the idea that it should go to IO1 0 instead of IO1 output? I don't know. The parser's vibe coding? No, it's just broken. It's my own fault. So I guess I'm just gonna have to debug it. I can debug it how? Using the debugger might be hard because I'm not exactly sure where I would set the breakpoint. I use len a bunch of times, right? Actually, maybe I don't. Okay, I use len there. I use len in more than one place, so it's... Yeah, it might be hard to... how about instead, I just see what the code actually does, so that would be in the length function, in making the argument for the length function. So that's statement, oh, expression. Evaluate expression. So it will be a function call, right? That looks like a function call. So it should go into evaluate function. Oh, and it's args. Vector of expressions. Okay, so it should go into here. It should evaluate the arguments. Shared component value, that's true. Because it will be a reference. It should go into dereference. Create and L value are both false. So we start in the main component and we step into the path. The first thing in the path is going to be IO. So we look it up in keyed children, we should find it. It'll be occupied and we'll get a reference to it. For this first step, if there are no indices provided and we're parsing in a vector context and the part has iterations, automatically select the current iteration. Right, that's how it got the one part. That explains the one part. So it checks in iterations. Wait, what? Why are we looping? Oh, because it might be nested. So this should only go through once. So maybe that's the problem. Maybe it thinks it should be going through twice. Yeah, here's the actual error message that we're seeing here, cannot index. I think, because there's no other place where cannot index appears. So maybe it is looping twice when I think it should only be looping once. Oh wait, is this 4 inside another 4? Well, it hasn't gone into the 4 yet, but that loop, yeah, there's only one loop, so that's not it. I'm gonna see if there's anywhere else we say cannot index. It is here, but that's inside the bridge, which we're not using right now. Let me add a little bit here. Iterations. Self iterations. There. Now we're printing a little bit more in the error message. Okay, so there are 2 levels. Why are there 2 levels? Easy to find the. Okay, so somehow we got a nested context. That's the problem. Wait, what? The second part, you don't see a break to get out of the bigger loop inside of the 4 part that's nested. Also, the 2 initial is probably getting out of index. I'm not sure what you're referring to. What's the bigger loop? So maybe it would help to print this. Warning. Length. Then run this. So before the for loop, it worked. Okay. That actually does. Oh, I think this actually started another level inside the iterations. Okay, so then that's a bug because we should evaluate that before we get into the for loop. But I bet you if I go look at it would be in statement how we handle a for loop. I bet I push into the context vector before we even evaluate the expression. Actually, it's because the expression is evaluated every loop, right? Yeah, I think that's the problem. Yeah, there it is. We pushed, and then we evaluated the for statement inner, which is evaluating the loop in it, and then here's the actual for loop, and then here's where we evaluate the condition. So we've already pushed a level into iterations. Okay, so what does that tell me? That if I've made a part and then we enter another loop, we can't use that as is. So a workaround would be to just get that out. So output len to get it out and then enter the loop and just reuse this as a constant. Actually, it's worse than that. I can. What if I just make a copy? Yeah, why don't I just say output equals IO output? And then this goes back to being the length of the output. And this is just output I. Yeah, I think that's the workaround. And then let me put a to-do here. I don't forget. This is a workaround as we have an issue referencing a previously made part from inside the following loop. Actually, I think the way it should work is if I do reference like io.output anywhere in the loop, including this condition, when it dereferences it, it should stop early if there are fewer dimensions. So then the fix would be something like we wouldn't iterate all of self iterations. We would stop early if the parts iterations. Oh, yeah, we should take the lesser of the self iterations and part borrow iterations. That's what we should do. Basically, take the innermost, but not but stop at a higher dimension, so to speak. So like there is an IO1, but there's no IO10, so it should have just stopped on IO1 and then taken that value. But this workaround should work though. Except for it looks like it's getting stuck. Do warning. Oh, I can't do that. I already have output up there. So this should be like, I think I was using the word next. Yeah, we can use the word next temporarily. Oh, and that's obviously why there was a problem. It was appending to itself. So it would never get out, right? Actually, I'm already using last. Just do next equals last, or last equals next. I think that's probably best. And there we go, it's parsing again. So, and we got a whole huge image there. Okay, fixed. So hopefully the whole point of this was to be able to see the output pixels along with the input symbols from the decoder. And in doing so, it uncovered a reference bug. So I think I'm going to try to fix that. I don't know if I'll have time tonight, but wait, what? Oh, this is another bug. I already had this on the to-do list. There's a bug where if we don't populate the tree, later we assume we populated it, but we didn't. So there's a workaround for that, right? Which is that we put something in IO here. So what do I do? Like, I need to have some placeholder to call it. I need to have a placeholder for IO. Can I just like assign it a 0 or nil? I think I can do that. Nope, that didn't do it. I have to actually give it a non-nil value. And what, tell it to keep IO? I don't think this is right. I think I should just address this bug head on and fix it, because it's a GUI bug. When I run the ingest tool directly, it works, right? And I should be able to see that if I scroll up here. Yeah, so the IO has a oh, we're only printing out some of the nodes. We're printing out the parts, but not the components of the parts. Yeah, also this needs to be hidden again. Forgot to do that. So that's plus, and then uncomment this. I want input and output to be distinct. And that broke it. Great. How did I break that? Oh, because it's passed in. We don't want to do that. No, that wasn't it. How would doing a look ahead break it like that? Oh, I think I know why. Because if we look ahead and we don't do anything, oh, well, I have an idea how to do this. We just call it IO. There we go, fixed it. But what will the GUI's probably still broken though. Nope, it fixed it. Okay, avoided fate for another day. All right, so if I did this right, I should see both the inputs and the outputs in the rendering blocks now. Yeah, so I could actually interpret that, right? As a special, like, yeah. I could say that this is not a UI, this is a clear code. LZW clear code. And then that we would just put down here UI. And can I just ignore it? I can just ignore it and then EUI code. Yep, so now we see it's a clear code and we can click on it and see it. Or we can go into one and we can see the input and its corresponding output. The output doesn't actually have bits anywhere, so when I click it, it doesn't go anywhere, but we can see the vector. So we can see the first code, 255, gives us 255, and then the next one gives us 2 pixels, and the next code gives us 3. So we can see how the compression works. Where the table's building off of itself for a while and making longer and longer strings of 256s, 255s until it gets to a code 67, and it's resetting it, right? And then we have another one, and then we have already coded in the table. We have that, so we can just with 1 byte we can emit all those pixels back out. That's cool. That's exactly what I wanted. So it lets me see like more about what's going on, and I bet if I scrolled around, I can see where the table is reset. Scroll long enough. Maybe not. Oh, I can search for it though, right? What did I call it again? Clear code? Yeah. LZW clear code. Right. Okay, that's a problem. I shouldn't have assigned that format. I guess it does that for the first thing. So actually, I should probably fix that. But anyway, so there's a clear code right there. So that means the symbol before, this is not printing out the number of bits, but it should reset it so that the next symbol has back to the minimum code size again. That's what the clear code does. It clears the decoder table back to what it used to be. It would be nice to know how many bits that is. And it's offset. Wouldn't that be nice to know that? Anyhow, you can see where all the clear codes are in the streams. And EOI code should always be the last symbol. So it's always the last symbol in a stream. Cool. If I wanted to print out the number of bits, where would I put that? Would I put that with format? So that would be that would be where? Info overlay? Hmm. Not new. What is it on? It's like set data. Yeah, set data. Here we go. Bill. Okay, set child data is to none. That it? Yeah, that's it. There we go. So it's this format to display for data. Right. So it's just returning a string, so I can enhance this, right? I can say format, and then in parentheses, another thing. I'm like considering if it is none, then maybe we shouldn't print the space there, but yeah, I'll think of that later. So the number of bits would be data.borrow.bitstream? No. Origin. Dot as ref map to to limit. Limit is the number of bits in that field. And then I need to like unwrap for I guess 0. Oh, use map or instead. There we go. Okay, let's see what that does. Nice search tool. Did you make that too? I talked about that in my Discord. I did the 20% that AI got wrong. This search bar is using FST and Aho Korosik traits. So I can show you that real quick. Korosik. So it's in this search right here. We're using FST and yeah, Aho Korosik non-finite automata. And I had to repair the crate owner's class called transducer. He had written that he kept it in the code tree and only built it for tests, and then he changed his mind again. He's considering pushing it out, but he never did it. I found it was broken, but I was able to fix it. So connecting So there's this transducer class that allows you to connect an NFA. It's just a non-finite automata to this FSA map, which is finite state automata. I'm not getting the terms exactly right, but like a finite state automata can be used to implement incremental search very fast. All of the time is really to build the automata, and you have to do that whenever you have something new to search. So for me, it's whenever there's new data. Whenever we're done parsing, we build the search thing. So you'll see that when in this update search, which I call only if the oh wait, that's not it. That's if you type something different in this box, but this is the cheap part. Using the FSA, the search index, which is that FSA thing. FST, sorry, FST, not FSA. Building that is expensive. Using it with that NFA is very fast. You just do this search, and I think they even say here like the search is fast. Executes an automaton on the keys of the map, and it'll say something like here, like I guess it doesn't say here, but the author of that crate, I think his name is Burnt Sushi, but I might be getting him confused with someone else. He's very knowledgeable about it, and so therefore, like, it's really hard for a layperson like me who knows next to nothing about search to use it. But AI pointed me to this and said, "Use this," and I'm like, "Okay, I'll use that," and I just fixed the broken part. You just realized you haven't updated your GPU drivers in a while. Uh-oh. My GPU drivers come with my operating system, so there. So yeah, the building of this map is the hardest part. I was gonna go find where that is. Yeah, when we build the search index, I had to visit all the rows in this, so there could be like hundreds of thousands of rows, and like basically insert into a B-tree map, which is what you'd use to sort things. So I had to basically resort all the rows because the map builder requires that you insert in order. In fact, this should say it. Key if a key is inserted that is less than or equal to any previous key, then an error is returned. So that means you have to insert things in order. So there's a lot of upfront searching to get everything in order, and then it's inserted in order through this map builder, and then we have to, and then like, because the only thing you can insert is a like the key has to be bytes and the value has to be a U64. Well, my text is strings, so I had to actually make a map to go between to go to and back and forth between each individual string and some U64. So that's what this search token is. There's this the vector of vectors of I don't know why I use usize. I guess that's because it's convertible to U64. Anyway, like, it's really complicated, and the AI told me some of this, but I had to figure out like the last 20% of it. So because I was interested in like how expensive it is to build this search index, I actually have built in code to measure the time. I use instant, which is a really nice type. It comes from the Rust standard library. You just say now at the very beginning, and when you at the end you just do elapsed, and you get a duration, and then you can print that duration out whenever. So yeah, that was fun. So yeah, I wanted to test this. So now it's just showing me like, yeah, it's the number of bits in each thing. So like in the header, the signature is 24 bits, the version is 24 bits. Cool. So that really should come in useful when I'm looking at individual pixels down here. So here we go. The clear code. See how the codes are 9 bits long? I click them, you'll see like it's actually highlighting 2 bytes because 9 bits long means it's the first, it's all the bits of the first byte and then the first bit of the second byte. And then the next token is the other 7 bits of byte 1 and then 2 of the bits of byte 2. So after a while it should jump to like it should hit a boundary where it jumps. Yeah, there we go. Between 7 and 8, right? So we're byte aligned when we get to index 8. But eventually, like, yeah, see how the code table size changed from 9 to 10? That happens when you insert enough entries into the decoder table. So it knows, the algorithm knows, according to, if you follow the algorithm correctly, you know that after you parse this token, which I think is off screen right there, after we parse that token, the next token is actually 10 bits long, not 9. I used to use Windows, but I switched everything to like the Mac now. It would be kind of nice if there was an API friendly search crate, but I couldn't find one. So if you want to do, so maybe you guys can find a better one, but the ones I found, the API isn't so nice because it's like it assumes you're an expert at it, but it's this FST. We can't look at it on libs, but yeah, finite state transducers. And so like if you don't already know what finite state transducers is, you'd have to look it up. It just tells you like this crate was designed to be used by someone who already knows what a finite state transducer is, and if you don't, you like me, you have to go look it up in Wikipedia and have ChatGPT explain it to you. But this crate is really good for searching if you know how to use it. Just doesn't have the best API. Because like the search is really fast. Like I can search for all, like I just typed 5 and already knows there are 2,681 matches to something that starts with left bracket 25. And I can narrow the search. There are 13 things that have 256, and if it's 256 something else, well, if it's 0, then there's 10 of those. Right? It's actually very fast search once you built the search index. It's insanely fast. Yeah, my AI overlord got 80% of this. Again, I had to fix it. It wasn't right on the first try. Because it tends to hallucinate things based off of like what the author had written about it. Like at one point the transducer between FST and Aho Corsic worked, but then it got broken and like what his comment said like, I think I'll take it out. Oh, now I changed my mind. I'll put it back in, but I didn't do it yet, and it's all commented out. So when I uncommented it, I noticed right away the test didn't work. So he hasn't run the test in a while. And actually, in the end, ChatGPT recommended I send it back to the author as here's a recommended way to make it work again. And I'm like, I wish I could do that, but I'm not allowed to do open source right now, fortunately. It's lower level than Tantivy. I didn't look into Tantivy. My AI overlord did not suggest that. You hate negative numbers, just stop at nothing to avoid them. Yeah, you should stop at nothing. Clamp those to 0. How are you doing, Mr. Balrog? Vibe code is something you gave the clearest of instructions. They got straight up ignore what you say at times. Yeah, because I think the way it works is the language model just uses like its weighting and it squashes things together, and so it can end up with a self-contradictory answer, which is like you could say, "Don't give me X, just give me Y," and it'll say, "Okay, here's an X and here's a Y," because it mashed those two together somehow, and it can't fulfill your request without contradicting itself in its answer. If that makes any sense. Anyway, I really like how this turned out. So like it resets from 12 to 9 here when we get a clear code. So yeah. The reason why it resets is that in GIF you can't have a code table larger than 12 bits. So like that's the largest symbol you'll see, and then it's like, oh, clear code, and then we're back to 9-bit codes. give the instructions in a very deliberate manner because of how the app is supposed to work. Yeah, but think of it this way. It's taking your words and it's like smashing them into a matrix of numbers. And every time it has to add another word, it's probably losing some of the bits because it's smashing bits together into the same spaces. And so it's going to end up with like a blob of bits that roughly translates to what you told it, but it's going to have like collapsed the bits together in some ways where it won't be able to regurgitate your entire query back to you without loss, unless it was specifically programmed to have a special memory cell to hold on to the input preserved, right? If you just told it, hey, take this query, put it into your matrix, and then spit it back out, it'd probably give you something that like it would have reworded your query in a way that like it lost some of the elements of it. And learning that you have to be as concise as possible. Well, that makes sense, right? If it's taking every word and smashing them together into a matrix of bits, then the more words you give it, the more chance of loss. So if you do it with as few words as possible, then there's the lowest information loss, right? That kind of adds anecdotal evidence to my theory. The more words, the more potential loss information. But then sometimes you need those words to help focus the search, right? To add more terms. Sometimes you do need to do that. Okay, am I happy with the names here? I think so, because this is what I wanted. I wanted to group the input and the output elements together. This does say 0 with a space there, so I kind of want to clean that up. Clean that up now. What if, like, if it doesn't have... We can just say, like, if it doesn't have a format at all, well, it should be predominantly, do we have an origin or not? So let's do it like this. Map origin. Or is it map or else? We give it 2 closures. So if it has an origin, that's where we want to put this big thing in there, and then I don't need to do that. I just do origin limit. But I don't want to double borrow, so I'm just going to say let data equals data.borrow, and then I don't have to borrow again. So I don't have a double borrow problem. And then I need to actually put something in here. So if there is no origin, I'm just going to use what we had before, which is this. Here, though, I want a kind of case where this is an option string, so I do want to clone that, right? Well, no, I don't need to clone it. I can just do as ref, right? And then unwrap or else. Format. I think I got that. It's gonna indent it like that, right? And then the default, if we don't have a format, is to just print the bits only. What's the difference here? Oh, toString. Oh wait, I don't want to do this format. I just want to do format. In fact, I can just say format here. Why? Do I need to dereference it? I shouldn't have to, right? What's the problem here? Why does it expect a string? I'm formatting in both places, right? Why does it think it's a reference? I think it's confused. What if I do it this way? Hmm. Is it just I don't understand unwrap or else? Okay, the T, the problem is it has to be a T, so um I can't use unwrap or else, can I? But I can do a match. So then we get some format, which is a reference, and then we can just do this part. Otherwise do this part. And now we've severed the type. And now it probably tells me you can do a map or else. I just let it do it for me. That's one cool thing about Rust Analyzer is like you do it one way and the linter's like, ah, you meant it, this is a better way to do that. It's match like a switch. It is like a switch, only so to show you what I had originally, the cases it's kind of like almost like a regex. You can actually have like partial things. Like if I don't really need that, I can just say sum that. Like it doesn't have to be a concrete value, and you can combine things together, and you can have like a default is just an underscore because it says like if you reach this match anything. So yeah, I guess I'll have to redo this thing. Match really is like doing like a pattern match on every case until one of them matches, and at compile time it ensures that you cover the entire space of possible values. It'll actually warn you if you don't. So like if I go back to this and let's say I leave off the none case, it'll actually give me a compiler error saying it's a non-exhaustive patterns because you didn't cover none. So that's kind of that's really cool to me. Like in C, C++, if you had a switch and you forgot one of the cases, the compiler wouldn't warn you about that. In Rust, it doesn't even compile. It has to be exhausted. Now you can always just have the underscore, and that's the catch-all. And then if you had a hole, it'll end up going into the catch-all, even if you didn't intend to. So there's like trade-offs, but I like it. C++ does warn you about it, does it? Does it tell you about it's not being non-exhaustive? You can do function matches. Yeah, so you can have clauses in there. So back to this, I could say some format if the formats dot if the length of the format is greater than 3. So I could have a different format if I do that. Now I'll format it differently if format is longer than 3 characters. And so that's like it's sort of like a superpowered switch statement. Because you can do all sorts of conditional logic, and it goes through and it tries to match them in order. Basically, you're bad at regex. So this is like in Rust and like an expression to match a pattern, but instead of being in regex format, it's in Rust. Anyway, that should make this a little bit nicer to look at, I guess. So it won't print the number of bits if the thing doesn't have an origin in the bit stream. It'll only show a number of bits if it did come from the bit stream. So if I open this data now, go to a rendering block, go to an image. So the inputs will all have number of bits, and the outputs, since they're synthetic, won't have any format, which is nice. This is still a problem, that the overall vector of IO components has a format, but that format's wrong. That's something to look into. I'm out of time though, so let's just add it to the list. Investigate why the overall format for a vector of components has a format, even when all iterations, when all iterations don't have the same format. So like, it makes sense to print a format there if all the elements are the same format. So like, data is the same way, right? It just says data, which makes sense. But in this case, these IO blocks have different formats. Sometimes it's a clear code, otherwise it's input and output. So it really shouldn't use that format unless it's the same format for all of them. Probably what I should do is, if we are assigning it to the parent vector, as we're iterating through, if it's ever something else, then we should just clear it, I think. Yeah. There's something else I wanted to add to this, right? Oh, right. There's a bug where if we comment these out, actually, that's probably sufficient to make it crash, right? Yeah, it's actually hosed. Oh, wait. That's because we did a look ahead. Right, it's if I give it a different name. If I didn't give it a name at all, for example, it won't get stuck, but it crashes with this insertion index should be less than or equal to the length, which is 1. That's a bug, and I think I had it in here, but I didn't remember what the context was. It's up here somewhere. Maybe I didn't write it down. Oh, then I should add it, right? Something data tree. Yeah, that's a different bug. Yeah, okay, so I don't think I actually wrote it down, so I should write that down now. I thought I did, though. But I just don't see it now. Okay, we're gonna write it down. Investigate crash and data tree. If you have parsed a vector, but I think it either has holes or starts with a hole. So mine starts with a hole because you always have a clear code as the first one. So like when it's building IO, the first element is actually the second because it's in the second loop. The first loop will get a clear code. The second loop will get an IO. And so when it populates IO, it's brand new, but it has a hole at index 0, and the first non-hole is at index 1. And I think that's why I'm getting this weird thing where the insertion index should be less than, it's expecting to insert in the middle, not after the end. I don't know why it's 3837 though. That's kind of weird. So the workaround right now is to name the clear codes also IO, but then that has that side effect of the overall thing getting the format clear code, just because the first one was named clear code. The alternative, if I didn't name it IO, is in parallel with IO, there would be clear code, and it would have this the same or smaller number of iterations, but it would have a lot of holes and only index 0. Actually, we can just search for it. It'd only be populated at index 0. 3837. Oh, that's where that number came from. I think, right? Yeah, 3837, right? That's where that came from. Because it inserted it at 3837 there. 0, 3837. Oh, I see what's going on. There's holes between 0. So it puts 1 at 0, and then it tries to insert in index 3837, but the length is only 1. Okay, that makes sense. So update this to do then. If you have parsed a vector, but it has holes in it. All right. Okay. Anyway. I think that's going to be it for me. Yeah. Close that before I forget. Send it out of the virtual machine. I did a lot of miscellaneous things today, and biggest thing was this guy, where I refactored and I finished this image viewer. So I'll leave that on screen while I close. Let's see, anybody else streaming right now? Ooh, Togglebit's doing unsafe Rust. We gotta rate him. You guys ready to see some unsafe Rust? I am. Unsafe Rust, here we come. So yeah, had fun today finishing up this image viewer. It's really super neat. I'm really looking to leverage this. We even got callback drawing the text for us, all done in safe Rust. If you enjoyed that, let's go look at some unsafe Rust. So anyway, I'll see you guys in a couple days, or maybe tomorrow. I don't know, but maybe not. We'll see. If not tomorrow, then on Friday. So have fun on Togglebit stream. See ya.